request further basic techniques of Dawah among non-Muslims, inshallah. We welcome you, brother, and Jazakallah khair for joining us today.
Walaikum assalam, Jazakumullah khairan, sister. Did you want to start straight away, inshallah?
Yeah, we can start, inshallah.
Inshallah. All right, sister. So, just to make sure, how much duration have we kept for the session? Sort of an hour and a half.
Small Q&A session, inshallah.
Sorry, could you just repeat that? I lost that.
Yeah, we can have 1.5 hours for your session, inshallah.
Okay, inshallah. All right. Jazakallah khair for that. Inshallah, what we will do is just the format. Probably, I'm happy to go in a broken format. What I mean by that is we'll do like 10 to 15 minutes and then a bit of question answer, then again 10 to 15 minutes, then a bit of question answer. That way we have more beneficial interaction as we go. That would be what I'm thinking maybe a good approach. Any other thoughts or suggestions? Happy to take that before we start, inshallah.
Yes, we are okay with this.
All right, inshallah. So just give me 1 sec.
I'm not sure if it's just me or others can also not hear.
No, inshallah, I just kept it on hold. I'll start it now, inshallah. So, alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulihil kareem wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. So, my dear sisters, inshallah, what we want to do today is go through a small dawah workshop. And what we will try to cover in that is, I want to cover 3 different areas of discussion. One, we will look at what are the avenues that the sisters could give da'wah in. So that will be one aspect of discussion. The second, we will look at what are the responses or reactions or answers that we should be giving to the regularly asked common questions. The third, we will look at how would we respond to particular concepts other than Islam, such as Christianity, Hinduism, atheism, different ideologies. How do we prepare ourselves? How do we look into it? So we might not get time to look at all the questions and answers, all the concepts of other religions, but at least we will know what are the resources, how do we respond, what is the big theme in these religions that we can tackle there. So these will be the 3 that I would want to look into, inshallah. The first one we will go through is what are the avenues where sisters can get involved in giving dawah? Because many a times we do talk about dawah for sisters, we do talk about and we organize sessions and trainings such as this, mashallah. But then also we just need to look at what are the avenues that we can really have good amount of engagement and the presence of the sisters themselves. So let us start with that. And what I would like to do is I'll mention some of the points, possible 5 to 10 points. And then I'm happy to keep the board open, keep the door open, so we can have some more suggestions. And then you as an organization, as a team, as individuals can look into, applying that, implementing that, or working towards that, inshallah. So first and foremost, we all want to do dawah. We all want to get involved in dawah. We all want to learn about dawah for several reasons. One is to get the reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The second is because we know that this is one of the good deeds. This is one of the obligations. This is one of the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Third, we also see that this seems to be a necessity in places where we live. It is not necessarily we want to give dawah, but otherwise, possibly many times people ask us questions. So in these 3 scenarios, we always do come across dawah, whether it's for brothers or for sisters, we do come across the need of the dawah. So one is for the ajr, the second is it is a command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the third is where we live in a society, we do come across situations where we would have to give dawah, or we would have to respond to the questions that people might raise about Islam. So now let's look at some of the ways that we can look into giving dawah from Sisters Avenue perspective. Now, remember, dawah is not simply going up to someone and saying, what is your purpose in life? That is one way of doing it. Usually, this is what happens on street dawah. But remember, you may be asked a question yourself by somebody, whether it's at workplace, on the street, at the shopping center, wherever you are. People might come to you and ask you, why do you wear a scarf? Try and understand that opportunity itself is dawah. So sisters are not necessarily, we have to go out on the street to do the dawah, as we call street dawah that we do. But I think apart from that, many a time sisters might be directly approached by somebody and asked the questions, why do you wear a scarf? So responding to them, informing them why you do that is also dawah in that case. Now, consequently, knowing how to respond becomes important. So that is what is this workshop about, inshallah. So that's one aspect. Somebody coming to you and asking you a question about your hijab. Somebody coming to you and asking you about women's rights in Islam. Somebody coming to you and asking, why in Islam this happens? Why do you do this? Why are you forced or controlled by your parents or your husband or a male in your family? Any absurd questions against Islam also would give you the opportunity to respond, and that response itself would be considered or counted as dawah, as an opportunity. Second aspect is non-Muslims are more receptive and willing to communicate with Muslim women than Muslim men. This is a a well-researched thing that has been happening, especially not just here in Australia but across the Western world. Women see, non-Muslims seem to be more receptive, more willing to understand and accept when it comes from the horse's mouth, as they say. The person who is in question, that is a Muslim woman. So if a Muslim woman speaks, it seems to have lot more impact than when a Muslim man would speak and try to explain things. So it would be considered that more important for sisters to be equipped with Islamic knowledge. So that is where the necessity of giving dawah and being prepared is coming into the picture. So that's the second scenario, or second avenue, you can call it. The third is a large portion of those reverting to Islam are women. So this shows that non-Muslim women are open to dawah and more likely to respond positively than non-Muslim men, which should make giving dawah easier for you. So we know women in general like to communicate and will speak freely with their female friends. And therefore, if you have a friendship with a non-Muslim female woman, we hope this will encourage you and open avenues of giving dawah to them. So wherever you are, when you come into contact with a non-Muslim woman, I think that itself is an avenue of giving dawah to them. The fourth point is opportunities to communicate and interact with non-Muslim women. Now, this may be in your, at your school, at your college, at the university, workplace, or in any other regular community gathering. It could be a local council gathering. It could be, another avenue of where people catch up. There are several avenues that women gather. And when that happens, if you come across a non-Muslim woman, that itself becomes an opportunity to give dawah. Another place is, to look, the group. When you have a women's only group, in local councils these days, there is a lot of emphasis on women's only activities. It could be, cooking classes. It could be, learning IT technology. It could be anything, fitness classes, anything that happens locally for women only. I think that opens a women's only opportunity. And that's where sisters can form a small local community group and have few Muslim sisters who are engaging with the sole idea of giving dawah there. Now, there's another opportunity. You could look to do a sister, such as, to get involved. And you can also, let me put it this way. So the sisters can also become pioneers of dawah within their own homes. So your children, your sons and daughters who are going to school, college, or university, you can pass on information to them. You can give rational discourses, arguments, reasoning to them, so they get encouraged and they give dawah to the circle around there. So for example, like take today's session now. Now I'm talking to you all, inshallah. This is a sisters only training session. Now I'm talking to you, but am I giving dawah to non-Muslim women right now? No. But I'm engaging with you. I'm sort of communicating with you, and I'm going to be exchanging ideas with you. you will then give dawah to somebody else. That would mean I indirectly have been involved in giving dawah to non-Muslim women here in Australia, right? Very similarly, you change the table now. You as a woman, as a mother, as a sister, as a daughter at home, giving training, giving rational arguments, discussing with your children, husband, brothers, parents, whatever it is, in your home setting, you conveying that information is what is going to assist them in giving dawah to the people that they are in circle with. Also, take the example of an imam of the masjid. The imam of the masjid is the most knowledgeable person in our community. However, the imam does not meet non-Muslims as much as all of us would meet the non-Muslims. What it means is the imam does not directly engage with non-Muslims, but the knowledge and information that the imam gives, it then gets indirectly reached out to the non-Muslims through the attendees. So you have that opportunity to be the imam at the house, to be the teacher and preacher at home, teaching your children, whether they're going to the school or anywhere else. You're giving them rational reasons so that they can convey it further. So these are different avenues. Let me put another one is there is an opportunity that you support your family member who is doing dawah, whether it's the husband or a child or the parent, anybody who's doing dawah. You can be a communicative person with them. I'll let you know, for example, when someone's working in the dawah field, there's a lot of discussions that happen, and this person who is involved in the dawah would require a lot of communication within the Muslim community itself, and that brings out responses, feedbacks, answers that could be put forward to the non-Muslims. So this engagement, internal engagement we call it, this internal engagement can be done at home with the family members. So your son or your daughter or your husband or your parent, somebody brings a question that is happening outside. Let me give a real life example. Right now, just 2 weeks ago, you remember there was this big incident in Sydney where the church was attacked, the church priest was attacked. And 2 days ahead of that, there was a shopping center attack, 6 to 7 people, especially women, attacked and killed. Now, when such massive public, events, incidents happen, there is going to be a lot of communication with everybody. When that is happening, if you are prepared with some sort of response and your family members at home have a discussion, you put forward 2 or 3 points, these points can then be conveyed by your family members to the people around in their circles, whether in their school, whether in their workplace, whatever it is. So these discourses, these internal discussions are quite important. And if we can create that environment of, trustworthy discussions where we don't get upset from each other, but we can have free flow of ideas between each other, and we pick up this point and say, okay, what was the difference between the 2 attacks? What was the difference between the 2 incidents? A Muslim young boy, 16-year-old, doing that attack, is it right or wrong? It's wrong. Okay, why is it wrong? Why did he do? All of these discussions. My point here is, if we can have that open discussion at home, a lot of good arguments, a lot of good reasons can come out, which can then